What started as a 6-month challenge ended in something that I never went back to. And now, 4 years later, I live my life completely on silent. All of my devices are completely on silent 24 hours, 7 days a week. And I did not plan it like this. It just ended up like this because I needed the quiet. So this all started back in 2022 when I was deep in the depths of my corporate healthcare leadership career. I was in a burnout. A lot was going on. And in addition to the high levels of stress, the expectations, the team coming out of COVID, managing a large team, being 60 pounds overweight, having anxiety, taking anxiety medication just to go to work, I was overwhelmed by the constant notifications, emails, dings, pings, rings, texts, phone calls. And it just felt like I was being pulled in multiple directions. So I gave myself a challenge. I wanted to challenge myself for 6 months. And I don't even know why I chose 6 months. It was just a random thing. 6 months to put everything on silent. And I did it. And it was the best thing I could have ever done for myself ever in my life. Now, I will say that, of course, it was it was very hard. It was very hard. I left my corporate leadership job in 2022, but I put the phone on silent, I would say, because I wrote a blog post about this. It was several months before I had left the role. So I was able to experience being on silent during the role and outside of the role, because again, I challenged myself to do this for 6 months. And at the time I wrote a blog post about it because I had a fashion and lifestyle blog that I was doing and I loved it. And that got some engagement around, back in 2022, people being curious about me putting my phone on silent for 6 months. And what happened is what I wanted, but I didn't know that I needed. Me putting my phone, so my cell phone, my laptop, my iPad, everything on silent 24/7. And again, what happened is what I needed, but I didn't know it at the time. So some of the results for sure were my nervous system settled down, because every text message, every phone call, every email ping, it's just like it put my nervous system in overdrive, because I'm like, what needs to be done now? What does somebody want now? Who needs something now? Like, it was just a lot going on. So me being able to put my phone on silent immediately calmed my nervous system, because what I did was of course, I had a large team to lead. So what I did was I set my cell phone, particularly, like, I would have a timer for me to check it like every other hour. So then I was managing how I would respond to things versus me responding to things just by the notifications that was going off. And that immediately, again, just put my nervous system at ease. So I was a little bit calmer. It allowed me space for mental clarity, just to think a little bit clearer. It definitely gave me a place for peace, with the emails, because, people will be emailing you all day and night, but it doesn't mean that you have to be responding to those emails all day and night. And at the time, again, I didn't have the language for what I actually needed, but now, today, in the way that I live my life, prioritizing rest, what I really was craving was sensory rest. And that's one of the 7 types of rest. And sensory rest is just because we live in a world of constant stimulation. There's always noises, there's sounds, there's lights, there's just so many things that get us overstimulated. I don't really like using that word, but like overstimulated. And sensory rest is just taking a break from all of the things, from all of the sounds, from all of the lights, from just all of the things that is causing our overstimulation. And that is one of the 7 types of rest, sensory rest, for a holistic approach to rest. And again, I didn't know that I needed that back then, but I really did need that. I needed a break from the sounds, the notifications, the constant, because it would just immediately put me in like problem solving mode. Okay, like what's wrong now? What do I have to do now? What's going on now? Who needs this? What needs this? And I needed a break. And those 6 months gave me that break that I needed. And again, also just setting out timers, because again, like some days when I really had to focus on work or focus on project, I would put my phone in my purse, my iPad would be shut off. And then for emails, I would just close out the email. So I couldn't even, if emails were coming in, I wasn't seeing them or hearing them. Just setting little systems in place like that, setting particular boundaries together like that, it really, really did help me. It helped me a lot. And after those 6 months, I never turned back. Like after the 6 months was over, I did not have the urge at all to turn the volume back up on my phone or any of my devices, not even put it on vibrate or anything. And if I'm honest with myself, just being in that space and not being in a space of like constant reacting to things, and just having space for quiet, having space for me to choose how to respond to notifications and things. It just allows for a lot more peace, a lot more calm, a lot more clarity in the way that I think, and just overall feeling more grounded. And I think a lot of us don't realize just how much noise and how much just things that we are reacting to in our environments. Like I said, the cell phone, the iPad, the laptop, the this, the that, the TV. Like we don't notice how much all of this noise is impacting the way that we live and how our bodies and our minds are craving a break from that until we actually take the time to step away. And I understand that everybody might not be able to do this. You might not be able to just put your phone on complete silence 24 hours, 7 days a week. But maybe it's something that you can try for a little bit of sensory rest. Maybe set out an hour in the morning and put your phone on silent or do not disturb, or an hour at night, or even try a whole weekend of just putting your phone on silent. And then you setting the time for when you will go check your phone and respond. Another thing that helped me too, and I know this isn't going to work with a lot of people, is I'm not on social media. And that for me, that means I have no personal social media. So I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on TikTok. I do have business social media. And the only platforms that I'm on for business is LinkedIn. I have a Facebook page that I'm rarely on, and then YouTube. But to be honest, I really don't look at YouTube as social media, although I understand that it is. But I say that because when I'm saying I put my phone down and I choose when I'm going to respond, look at calls or respond back to text messages or things like that. I'm also not just sitting on my phone, like just scrolling. Like I gave that up around 2022, probably I think the end of 22 as well. Like just got rid of all my personal social media because again, that was interfering in my life in a way that I wasn't happy about. So I just got rid of everything. I just live a very, I live a very aligned and intentional life, and in a way, again, where peace is centered, calm is centered, me being grounded is centered, rest is being centered, while still being ambitious, and while still being driven and being purpose led and being goal oriented. I'm still doing all those things. And like I said before, I understand everybody might not be able to do this, but just being mindful of how you're responding to notifications and pings and bings and all of the things that we have, and maybe just setting out some time for a little bit of not social rest, but sensory rest. Like I was saying earlier, maybe take an hour in the morning, an hour in the evening, or set aside a weekend. And also now I've been doing this for 4 years, so I have gotten a little bit more the structure. Now everything is still on silent, but the structure isn't as hard because that's just not my life anymore. I just live on silent. But sometimes, like in the evening, I'll have my phone like on the coffee table. So if someone texts me, I can see the phone will light up. And if I want to look and see who it is, I will, or I won't. But it's just not that constant, like grabbing, like reaching for or reacting to just based on that sound that we're hearing. And now me, for the light, when your phone lights up from, getting a text message. So I just thought that I would share this way of life, because it's something that, again, started as just a 6-month challenge back in 2022, but it's actually the way that I live my life now. And I don't think that I would ever go back to having my ringer on my phone. I just wouldn't. And again, I'm in a little bit of a different situation. It's not like I have children or anyone is calling me for any type of emergency. I'm not in a career where I have to be on all the time, literally or figuratively. So there shouldn't be anyone necessarily calling me for any type of an emergency per se. I mean, I do have parents, I do have siblings, but again, I'm still checking my phone throughout the day. So if someone was calling or needed something in an emergency, I still would be able to respond. It's just not me reacting to every time the phone, the iPad, the computer pings, ding, rings, bing, buzzes, and all of the sounds that it makes. So again, I just wanted to have this conversation today in this 100-day challenge. I think it allows ambitious women, driven women like you, just to see things a little bit differently, to see how designing your life in a particular way can work for you based on what you need. And sometimes just stepping outside of the box and noticing where things may feel misaligned, and maybe you haven't had the language for it yet, or even thought about acknowledging it that way, and maybe giving sensory rest just a little bit of a try, and just see how it feels. See how it feels when things just get a little bit quieter, because sometimes the clarity you're looking for is on the other side of less noise. I'm Erica Prevail, and I share daily conversations helping ambitious, driven, purpose-led women rework their relationship with ambition, capacity, rest, and creativity. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.